Once we understand who our best clients are and where they came from, so our best referral sources, then we can really set up a great plan to go attack. Hi, welcome to I Hope This Email Finds You Well, a business development podcast. I'm your host, Neil Barrow. I'm the founder of Enabled BD and coming soon, Underground BD. Little teaser for you there. This is the podcast where we create clarity and community for the business development profession in professional services firms. So let's get into it. Strategies and tactics. So we had a great conversation last time with Chad Corley, Senior Relationship Manager for Armanino. There were so many great nuggets in there. It was really hard for me to choose which one to click down on in our strategies and tactics edition today. But I thought that we kept on revisiting what it takes when you're trying to figure out how to do business development in a new environment. And so thinking about Chad's journey from going from software sales into business development for an investment bank, and then being at a small firm, and then figuring out the rhythm of what business development looks like to then go into a larger firm to then like scale your execution. And so I thought that it would be really interesting today for us to talk about and kind of click down through what do you do when you first join a firm? If you're new to business development, how do I even figure out what I am supposed to be doing day to day? And so I wanted to break it down into 30, 60, 90 days, but maybe it's like really 60, 120, 180. But like however you're thinking about it, we're going to dive into what I would do when I would first start and some of the things that Chad had talked about when you're first going into a firm, how to get, and then like, what do you then need to do to create the activity? And then how do you keep up with everything? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So when you think about just jumping into a brand new firm, being new to business development or being in business development and coming into a firm, what are the first things that you got to do? Well, number one, makes a lot of sense. We got to meet with all the partners. So our job is internal business development initially, where we have to go understand our services, like we have to pull website, we have to read everything about what we do, how we do it, meet the leaders, meet the partners, meet the people. And so we're spending a lot of time early on in internal business development, but then we need to shift, or maybe at the same time, analyzing what our clients look like. So pulling a list of all of our top clients, whether that's by service line or by industry. If we have a CRM, if we don't, we need to pull it from practice management. So depending on what your firm that you're going into looks like, we've got to understand our clients. And I want to see who our best clients are, because that's, from a business development standpoint, that's going to give me the most opportunity for success if I'm spending time trying to target our largest client, prospects that look like our largest clients, or industries that we're really great at, or services that we're really great at. So I need to really analyze our client base to understand what our current client mix looks like. Then I want to identify where those clients came from. So Chad talked about that at the investment bank. You know, he was asking, where do all of our deals come from? And so we should be asking that question too. And it's not anecdotal in partners' heads. It's, we've got to see it. So thinking about where our best clients came from is a really good exercise to go through. So then we identify, okay, our best clients are mainly in real estate. And those real estate clients mainly come from bankers. So you've already found a little bucket on where you need to be spending your time. So when I do that, I'm kind of putting everything together. So your first 30, 60 days, like that's what it needs to look like, is internal business development, and then getting a feel for where we're really great. And then at the same time, we've got to be having meetings. So what's the best way to do that? It's going through this thing and making some calls, right? So I've got to catch up with all of my network, and easy meetings for me to get, letting people know what I'm doing. And then it's also starting the reach out for referral sources and having those meetings. Maybe we'll want to ride along with partners. Hey, if you've got a prospective client meeting or you've got a referral source meeting, can I go? So it's getting involved as we're getting organized. So then once we start executing, once we're organized, using our example, real estate and bankers are our best referral sources, then I need to start setting up meetings with those ideal referral sources. So Chad talked a little bit about that, is how do I get connected with the right people in the community or the region that I'm serving or wherever I'm at? How do I get connected with those right people? And then now that I know those industries, where do those people hang out? Do they go to associations, organizations, conferences? How do I get connected with a large group of those folks? And that's where I need to go be spending my time. And so when I start organizing around those industry events, the associations, and the people that I need to meet, now I can start putting together some activity goals for myself as, hey, I want to go to these two events this month. I want to go to these 3 happy hours this month. I want to go to these 5 happy hours this week. But I want to set some activity goals. I want to meet with these many people. And I think a good metric as we're getting started, because you need to fill your calendar with meetings, but when you're first started, so you can grow your network. And I think a good goal as you're getting ramped up is at least 10 meetings a week. When you start getting really connected, because Chad made a reference, which is something that is really strong and something that I recommend to pretty much every client that I have, is when we meet with a great referral source like a banker that caters to the real estate industry, I'm asking, who should I know? Who's the most well-connected person? Like, I'm new, I'm getting started, I'm at a new firm, like I'm trying to grow my network. Who would you recommend that I talk to? And then we can get 1 to 2 to 3 introductions from every meeting that we have. And so if we're meeting with the right people, our network can expand very quickly if we're asking those questions when we're meeting with people. Because people want to be helpful, especially with somebody that's just starting out or somebody that's new to the industry or new to the market or new to a firm. That's how we business development minded people can support one another, is with connections. And so if we have where we need to spend our time and we're starting to do those activities, then it's really important for us to start putting together a game plan. So thinking about the 90-day mark, the 120-day mark, it's really thinking about how are we going to either hit our goals, if a goal was agreed upon or assigned to us, or if we need to set a goal for ourselves to show our value to leadership. So when we think about putting this game plan together, it's what activities am I going to be doing week in, week out, month to month? Where am I going to be focusing my time? What relationships am I going to be focused on building? And right now we're only talking about external responsibilities. So when we think about, we're going to have some internal responsibilities as well. So when I'm talking about putting together this game plan, it's really around the external responsibilities. And then we also need to think about our internal responsibilities as well. So some of Chad's internal responsibilities in Armanino are he's having to manage deals that are coming into the firm. And so he spends a lot of his time managing those deals as well as doing his external plan. So we have to have that internal and external game plan. But when we think about our external game plan, ultimately we need to put together, where am I going to be spending my time, with whom, what industries, what am I going to be trying to target and sell, and then how many clients, how much do I think that I can go and bring in? We're not going to be able to have those numbers if, especially starting out, like we're not going to know. We're just going to be setting some goals for ourselves. But I think it's really important to focus on the inputs rather than the outputs. So, hey, this is what's important to the firm and how I align with the firm's goals and what the firm's great at and the firm's best clients and how I'm going to help bring in new ones with my plan. And so then I want to present that and get some buy-in from leadership. So thinking about who you report to, whether that's the managing partner or a certain partner or the CMO, the director of market, like who are you reporting to that you can share this game plan with and get some feedback, but also you've done your homework to show that this is where you need to be spending your time. And this is what is probably the most valuable ROI for the firm on where you're going to be spending your time on the activity. And then the last piece is then we got to go attack. And so Chad was talking about how he stays organized to attack. And so you've got to be organized with the people that you're meeting with. You might want to just start out with a spreadsheet. Chad uses Monday, project management tool. Others might have CRMs, but we've got to stay organized in how we're going to track who we're meeting with. Do we need to meet with them again? Do they align with our ideal clients and who we're trying to network with? So how am I building these long-term relationships? But then I really need to set that game plan and then set my calendar to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. So did I hit my 10 meetings a week this week. That helps us hold accountable to the activity that we need to do. So in summary, thinking about how we're going to organize getting started at a firm, we need to understand what our firm is really great at. We need to do some internal business development, and that doesn't stop after the first year, but really thinking about how we're building those right relationships so we know which partners to bring in to what opportunities or to what referral sources. So we're really aligning value and making sure we're giving ourselves the best chance to succeed. Once we understand who our best clients are, and where they came from, so our best referral sources, then we can really set up a great plan to go attack. The challenge is that when we first start, we just want to get out there and start meeting with people. And that's great because we need to build our network. But I see this pattern with new business development folks all the time where we get out there, we don't really have a reference for who's a great client or who's a great fit or what we're great at or who the right partners are to bring in. And then we go meet with a bunch of people and then we don't see any results. And so we end up having to go back and do this exercise anyway, where should I spend my time? What is going to be the best bang for my buck when I'm doing activities or setting meetings or going to events? I just don't want to network anymore. I want to network with the right people. And if we can get organized first, start setting meetings, think about industries, think about associations, think about conferences, events, like local things that we can go to, happy hours, and then build our game plan and get an agreed upon game plan for the activity portion of it with leadership. Now we've really aligned ourselves with leadership and with what we need to do to be successful. So that's it for this week. Thanks for listening to I Hope This Email Finds You Well, a business development podcast, Strategies and Tactics edition, and we'll see you next time.